Campbell Park, Fairmont Park, Lakewood, Maximo, and Melrose Elementary have been the foundation institutions for educating children in South St. Petersburg. Located in predominantly African-American communities in a city that abuts the Gulf of Mexico, the schools have historically elicited a sense of pride and belonging from all who attend or live near the schools. But in recent years, student achievement has declined on standardized tests, with the schools receiving some of the lowest test scores in Florida. Pinellas County Schools is embarking on two major initiatives in an effort to improve learning, test scores, and the overall educational climate at all 5 schools. The first is the Scale Up for Success initiative, which is designed in collaboration with the Juvenile Welfare Board and the principals and teachers of the 5 schools. Scale Up for Success focuses on increasing achievement for all students with an emphasis on closing the achievement gap and turning around the low-performing schools. The Scale Up for Success initiative's implementation began in September 2014 at all 5 elementary schools. The second major effort is a partnership with TNTP, a national education nonprofit founded by teachers. TNTP's seasoned educators are working alongside the leadership and teachers at all 5 schools to build systems that prioritize effective learning in every classroom. In this ongoing documentary series, we will bring you inside the 5 schools, the classrooms, and the major efforts that Pinellas County Schools is implementing. Scale Up for Success and TNTP is a dual approach in an attempt to change and improve the educational health and lives of the students who attend the 5 schools. And it is also an attempt to remain true to our goal of 100% student success. Hello, I'm Demaris Lee with Pinellas County Schools Office of Strategic Communications, and we're here at Campbell Park Elementary. After-school programs such as 21st Century iClass, which are designed to enhance student academic achievement and personal growth, as well as Literacy Family Nights, which are designed to boost parental involvement, were started at the schools. Let's take a look at a few of those programs, one here at Campbell Park Elementary.
It's really given our students an extra opportunity to extend their learning. So not only after school, they've been involved in learning here at school, but after school they've also been involved for a couple hours of going to doing some extracurricular activities. The nice thing about iClass, they've been giving them opportunities for different types of learning, not only just the traditional type of learning in the classroom. They've been learning about science, they do some special field trips, they have guest speakers, they learn about art, music, so it's not limited to the typical classroom curriculum. They've really gone outside the box and thought outside the box and done some neat extracurricular activities that kids will really enjoy.
Oh, that looks perfect. Look at that. Yeah, I got the gears running already. Very nice.
Pushed in too much.
I think you did. What are you guys building? The strategies that we use, that we do a lot of one-on-one tutoring, one-on-one training, so that's how we try to get them early. If we can identify some of these problems early, some of the things they're slacking in, and get them strong, by the time they get to middle school and high school, they'll be very much proficient and they won't get left behind in the class. Because when kids first start getting left behind, that's when they start getting discouraged, and that's when you see a lot of the kids dropping out and things of that nature. So that's exactly how we try to catch them early.
Is it even? You want it to be?
What we hope to accomplish by giving kids these opportunities is to expand the horizons here. If you're if you like science, you might be a good scientist or inventor. So we're trying to expose to students to whatever different avenue they might explore or go on to their career. One of the nice things about iClass is we've tried to connect the family and school connection and tried to build that and strengthen that connection. We think that if there's a strong family-school connection, it makes learning a lot easier for all parties involved. So we've had monthly events that we've invited parents back and the parents and families to come back to explore learning. Sometimes it's academic, sometimes it's just about having fun with the kids and building those relationships. And we think that's very important for our school here, especially here at Campbell Park.
This is one of the pieces in which that is very important regarding making sure our children are able to read.
We're having a literacy family night
So the parents going to get exposed to books that are provided by Scholastic. They're going to get an opportunity to meet a former football player for the Buccaneers. And the families will understand, hopefully at the end of this night, the importance of literacy, the importance of reading, and how it's going to support their future.
That's why the parents brought them here tonight. Is that's to help them facilitate that process. And I think that by them being here, it shows that they think that education is important. They think reading is important, and ultimately, if they're able to help out in that manner, I hope it'll stir on something within the kids to make them understand the importance of reading.
I learned about tonight that something I stressed to my daughter who's in the I-Class program, that reading is fundamental. I read every day, and that encourages her to read every day. We sit together, she'll read to me and I will read to her, and then I'll ask her questions on what she's read, just to know that she's comprehending what she's reading. And then I-Class is helping her, encouraging her more to this beyond reading with all of her studies, with math, science, art. She was a little hesitant with art before, but now she's, has the courage to draw, to paint. And so I'm just very grateful for I-Class for just giving her the encouragement to know that she can do there's no limit to what she can do in reference to when it comes to her education.
Pinellas County Schools entered into a partnership with TNTP, an organization out of Washington, D.C., with a proven track record of turning around struggling schools.
Yes, your iPad should be on your desk and should not be on your lap.
WPDS-TV14's Dave Cook has spent the past couple of months with TNTP's Emily Appel to capture an inside look at their progress.
Review and analysis of the insight survey that we just had on that PowerPoint.
Well, today's meeting was all about, we were really looking at the data that we received back from the TNTP people. The group gave us an in-depth survey on the results of the survey that they took throughout the district and our school specifically. So today was kind of a debrief with my leadership team about what was happening, where areas of improvement, where our next steps for the next year is. We're constantly looking to see how we can improve our practice, and that was an integral piece for us to be self-reflective to determine where we need to go for next year.
And first, start by looking at the goals and the areas.
This project for us has done multiple, has improved our school in multiple areas. But what we're most proud of, it's really focused on teachers. How to improve teacher practice. It has given our teachers the tools necessary to become better teachers, to become more effective teachers, and then in turn to increase student achievement.
Yeah. So we shared data, particularly from the Insight survey, that said, teachers want to be getting regular actionable feedback. They want to be getting more. They want to be getting more feedback more often from you, so that they know what you expect. They know how they can improve, and the leaders were excited to hear that, but also. They also realized that it was something that they actually had a lot of control over, and something that they knew that since they hadn't done enough of yet, they really wanted to make a change in. So
in years past, if we do PD, it was never like targeted instruction that could happen in the classroom. These teachers now have the skill set and the tool set to work what they need to increase student performance.
So we've worked over the course of this spring to actually select the tool that we're going to use and really help make it user-friendly. So we have an online version that leaders can use their iPad with that will actually instantly send the teacher that piece of feedback so that the teacher gets it right away, which is so nice. It doesn't involve, tracking the teacher down or following up. They get it right away, and that instantaneous feedback, I think, is the thing that was missing for teachers, and they're so excited to get that. Here's something you're doing really well. Here's something you can think about stretching yourself on.
One of the other things is now we're become a lot more reflective in our practice. Teachers are practicing on a consistent basis. They're practicing their work prior to being in front of students, and it has changed our perception about our school. It has given us one of the biggest impact it has on our school. It's given us a common language. We speak a common language from pre-K to 5th grade, not only curriculum-wise, but behaviorally with our students and our classroom management. So we are speaking one common language, which is easy to implement, and it's a common thing through all threads. It's a fiber that's woven throughout our entire school. So it's no longer random arrows, it's arrows all shooting in the same direction.
And what are you going to do for 12 minutes?
Read and don't get out.
Read and don't get out of your seat. Do not come tell me I'm done, because you're not done until the timer goes off.
Yeah, so right now I'm working with school leaders to help them fine-tune or hone their ability to find evidence when they walk in and do walkthroughs or observations in classrooms that's aligned to the TNTP core rubric. And we're using this rubric because it really focuses on what students are doing in the classroom, and our goal is to make sure that student outcomes are increasing, so naturally we'd want to focus on what students are doing. No, it's exciting. This is what you would want to see, right? Like, kids are working really independently. They're focused. They're working in a grade level text. They're working with questions that are appropriate and deep, and ask them to and require them to go back and use evidence from the text.
Okay, what does it
Like, all of those pieces are the things you want to see every day in a literacy lesson. That's what she has them doing. Yep, so we usually start in the domain of culture of learning. So the essential question there is, are students engaged in the work of the lesson from start to finish? So it's not as simple as just having compliant students following directions, but it's, are students asking and answering questions? Are they volunteering answers? Are they talking with one another and engaging in the activities and the lesson materials or the lesson tasks that the teacher's presenting? Yeah, what we've seen is that, you know, every teacher wants to do everything they possibly can to help their students achieve at really high levels. And while sometimes getting feedback can be hard, every teacher that we've been working with is just so eager to do everything they possibly can so they can be the best teacher for their students. And we've had teachers be really receptive to not just after the fact feedback, but even in the moment feedback to help them grow or change a practice right away so that they can see the impact that it's having on their students immediately. And it's exciting that Campbell Park is ending the year this year there, so that next year they're really hitting the ground running when it comes to increasing rigor in classrooms.
Campbell Park Elementary was the first school to work with TNTP. Fairmount Park, Lakewood, Maximo, and Melrose Elementary all began their evaluations last spring. The school started implementing new processes and procedures just before the end of the 2014-15 school year. Let's continue with an inside look at Melrose Elementary with Principal Nanette Grasso, who is starting her third year as the school's principal.
What did I see as we first started? Well, we knew just by looking at the data that there was lots of things that need to be looked at, and number one is achievement. So we knew that grades needed to be looked at, and then dig deeper than that. Why aren't students being able to achieve and be successful? And then looking at discipline data, the number of referrals and that type. Why are there referrals, and what's happening? So within the last 2 years, a lot of things have merged and have been happening, and that is also with the help of the district and now with the TNTP program, starting within the turnaround schools. But the district also, in Scale Up, brought in then the JWB with the extra psychologist that's on campus full-time, and also with the Family Connector that's able to tie us to additional resources. Not speaking of discipline, but that is one of our big challenges, our big rocks as we call it, but was also the student services team. How are we servicing these children? And how are we studying this data to make sure that we're helping the children who need extra help get the help they need? I have to say, TNTP program has really been very instrumental in aligning things and saying, let's take a look, first of all, at our distributive leadership team and whose duties are which duties, and then who's doing what, and does this make sense, and is this the right person to do this? So that was one of the very first things we looked at, and then we took a look at additional things school-wide where we could do additional structure, and how helpful that has been when every single team, player, teacher, staff member has heard and seen and is doing the exact same expectation.
TNTP's Antonio Burt started working with Melrose Elementary's leadership team in an effort to change the culture and climate on the campus.
Good morning.
Yes, I got a nice strong
I am very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. You need a key?
I just approached the morning how I would want my own children to be approached. Positive. All right, we're getting close, gentlemen. If I want my own children to have rules to follow, so the children here. Nice job. Up. Malachi, get yourself tucked in, ready for Wednesday. These are my children, and I want them to be able to have a great experience. I want them to love school. I want positive reminders. Raise your hand if you did reading last night. We are midway through our second week of implementing the new protocols, and we're still ingraining them in the students, making sure we have the consistency, walking in a straight line, one behind each other, gender-based lines, shirts tucked in. When we come through, remember, right side of the road, right side of the hallway, personal space, don't crowd up even when you're in line. Ladies, you're gonna sit on the window side, and gentlemen, you'll sit on the other side, okay? So we're gonna start with our ladies. We're gonna go 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're still resisting a little bit, so the more consistent we can be, the better.
So initially, it was a culture shock to the kids to have these new routine procedures when they were, able to do some things that wasn't aligned to the new routine procedures. So they were basically saying, why are we doing this now? What are these new rules? They're too strict. One young lady went so far as to write the principal a letter saying how she didn't like the new rules, they were too strict, can she do anything to change it?
The more hands-on with our staff outside. If you saw, we had lots of people helping us with this endeavor. And the first week was a little rough. They were really, really pushing back, and every day we do it more. They're coming in, tucked in, ready to go, and a much happier, calmer start, which leads right on into the classroom, and we're definitely seeing a difference. Sorry, sweetheart. Ladies on this side over here. Anywhere over here. Find a seat with a friend, enjoy your breakfast.
So in turnaround, a big focus has to be on culture and climate, followed by teaching and learning, but you can't get to the teaching and learning until the culture and climate is tight. So we're going under the rule of thumb that, you can't teach in chaos, so we got to make sure the environment is very structured, strategic, and systematic, so that where teachers can only focus on teaching and learning and not focusing on redirecting misbehaviors. So we want to set the mindset like this is a place of learning, this is a place where you got to come, you got to follow routines, procedures the first time, but most importantly, you got to be engaged.
With the walkthroughs that we've done in the last week and a half, we've seen a marked difference where before we'd come in and the children weren't really focused as much, not on task to the high level that we had seen. Now we come in, I would say 90% of the class to 100% are all tucked in, they're listening, they're working, they're engaged, they're happier. And you know what? They like the rules.
So there was a big thing with when we did the diagnostic observations on insight surveys that the teacher talked about, like there's no consistent expectations, behavior, there's no follow through. Then in turn, if your teachers who are critical to the success of students, if they don't see that, then they're in a defeated state.
We can't do it without consistency. The one time you let up, the children are going to take advantage. It's that little crack in the door and they're going to push it open. So we have the entire staff on board, from plant operations, cafeteria, all the way up through our paras, office staff, classroom teachers. Everybody are helping to instill the same rules, and it's really working. It has been such a neat experience because Antonio Burt has come to us with lots of ideas. And he has not pushed one idea on us. He's given us the ideas, but then helped refine them to match our school, our teachers, our children. And then when we came up with our plan, he has helped tweak it and make it even better.
So we're still in the initial phase because the initial phase is going through and modeling a lot. So the month of May is very focused on modeling, consistency, follow through. We'll continue a lot of the work in Summer Bridge, and then when we open up the 2015-2016 school year, it'll be full implementation for us discipline behavior tracker, continuation with the new routine procedure, but most importantly, having complete ownership by the students, adults, and all stakeholders involved. Let's go, keep it going.
Hi, sweetheart. Nice work. All the way around the corner, right side of the hallway.
Successful start.
It was. It's going to be a wonderful Wednesday. A hot one, but wonderful.
An important element of the turnaround effort is buy-in and support from the local community.
I think community involvement is like one of the very biggest pieces of any school, making any school healthy, better, everybody being involved. It's a huge piece of transforming a school.
Community involvement is one of the key drivers that help turn around a school, but also help transform the community. By having community stakeholders involved, everyone knows the mission and vision of the school, and everyone knows the direction in which the school is trying to go. But it also brings about all stakeholders into the process of transforming the school.
So as we're telling the teachers, this is our journey as we go through this transformation.
I think what it does is allow us to get a good understanding of where the school is and what are the things they're planning to do to improve. And it also lets us know, as a community-based organization, how we can help. So we can partner with the school and get an assessment of the types of resources that they need and begin to kind of fill in the gaps for them.
To encourage dads becoming more engaged, and there's some obstacles there.
It's not one approach that integrates the community the best. Is really a multiple of approaches. Whether it's a parent university, parents go back to school, family math and science night, family literacy night, or inviting the community just to come out to see what's actually taking place in the school, so opening up the doors, but they're invited throughout the school year and not just one time or just one or two times throughout the school year, but it's multiple times throughout the school year. That way the community knows that they are a part of the big picture, and the big picture is transforming the school.
And so that is just a matter of, number one, building trust, and sometimes that takes time to do that. Being at some turnaround schools where you've had principals no longer than 2 years for over a decade, that really is hard then to make sure that you've got the trust pieces in place, that you're there for their children and for the long term. And so I think that's a big piece of starting with building your community relations and your partnerships.
I think it's essential for the community really to be consistent in their ownership and their accountability with the partnership. It's easy to come with the idea and then 3 months later, that idea hasn't taken place, it hasn't gained any traction. In order for the school to change, the community also has to be vested. And by being vested is being there, being involved, but being involved from the beginning to the end of the process. Not just coming to the school for an open house, or not just coming for parent-teacher conference, but coming and being a part of, rolling up your sleeve, because not only are teachers working tirelessly, school leaders working tirelessly, but all stakeholders need to work tirelessly to really transform the school and communities, because the community will benefit from the school transformation.
In the classroom, new methods of learning have already begun, which was observed in Ms. Young's kindergarten classroom.
Today we're going to practice our story, all right? So let's get our hands ready. All right, we're going to tell the story using our hands first by turning the pages, okay? So who can tell me the title of our story? Zanaya.
The Bubble Story.
The Bubble Story, very good. We had already pre-typed up the story, so it was guided for them. And then once it was guided, we gave them a sentence, and then we drew the pictures, the symbol grid. So
Today is a bubble blowing day, said Miss Young. Also bubbles are shiny and bright. We all cheer yes.
So what we did is we practiced it as a story. It was what they would hear us reading to them every day. And we used expressions in the story to show them that this is how we talk, and we wanted to share with them. They can share this at home, and then in turn they can write about it, and it helps with their writing. So then when they're writing in their stories and they want to say, we all cheered yes, they can use quotations and exclamation points to tell their stories. Yeah. Can we find the picture? Who has that picture, friends? Javier. Javier, can we now find that sentence on the carpet? Today is very good. I'm seeing great results. The students, when they're talking, even on the playground and when they're talking to adults, their oral language has gone up tremendously. They are showing expression when they're talking, even in writing and even in their books. When they see the quotation marks or when they see an exclamation point or a question mark, their voice changes. The kids are really confident now. They love it. They love to write now. It was pulling hair at the beginning of the year to get them to write me a sentence, a story, even in interactive writing. It was very difficult. Now I can barely get them to stop writing. They can write me story after story every single day, even the oral story. They can write me sentences about it every single day and tell me their favorite parts. They do great. It's amazing. Wonderful job, friends. All of you, kiss those brains twice. 2 times. You guys are so smart. They have grown a lot. You know, knowing from where they come from and walking in here every single day, it's amazing. The kids are amazing.
All right, friends, you ready?
Today is a bubble blowing day, said Miss Young. Do you want to
They make me love coming to school every single day, and I wouldn't change that at all. They come to school and they want to tell me about everything, and they come to school like, Miss Young, we did this over the weekend. I'm like, perfect, we can write a story about that. Tell me who was in your story. Use your oral language that we've worked on, and they do it. They can write me 3-page stories now. In the beginning of the year, I could barely get them to write anything for me, and I love it. These kids are amazing.
And as we begin a new school year, we expect positive changes to occur at all 5 of our Scale Up for Success schools, and we will continue to show you their journey in future episodes. I'm DeMaurice Lee. See you next time.